G'day guys, and welcome to another YouTube lesson. Today we're going to take a look at the business function of marketing, and we're going to be taking a look in particular at one of the 4 P's, the traditional 4 P's, and that is price and pricing. As I've said to students many times, the product which we looked at last lesson is essential for your marketing purposes, but if you're selling something too high for what the product is worth compared to your competitors or in general, then no one will buy from you. Sales will lag and suffer. If you're selling a product really cheaply, below what it costs you to make, you'll sell 1 billion of the items, the units, but it's going to make a loss every time you sell that product. And again, you're not going to be successful as a business. So like all the P's, all of your marketing strategies, the various mix of marketing strategies are important. Price is no exception. Now there are really 3 parts, 3 parts to this pricing strategy. The first one is pricing methods. And to be honest, I'm not exactly sure why pricing methods are different to pricing strategies. I've chatted about it before. I think they all should be strategies. They're kind of one and the same in my view, but like we know already with the syllabus, some are pricing methods, cost, market, and competition based. Some are pricing strategies, skimming, penetration, loss leaders, and price points. And if you're asked a question in the HSC about what are effective pricing methods, don't talk about pricing strategies. Vice versa, if you're asked about pricing strategies, in particular, talk about the 4 pricing strategies and try and skip those pricing methods. In general, if you're asked about marketing strategies, then it's fine to talk about all. There's one other part of price that we will address, and that is this interaction, this connection between price and quality. Not surprisingly, if crap's cheap, if things cheap in terms of price, the quality ain't going to be so good. If price is of high quality, or if price is expensive, then the quality is usually going to be quite high too. Usually, I say, it's not always the case. I mean, I myself am quite cheap, but of high quality. Maybe not, but you get the point between the two. There's that interaction. High quality, high price, low quality, lower price. All right, the first thing, pricing methods. What are we talking about there? We're mentioning the 3. We have cost or cost plus pricing, market, all right, and we have the 3rd pricing method, which is competition based. You need to understand they're part of this P, which is pricing. You need to also get that they are not strategies, but that they are methods. So, cost, or known as cost plus pricing, is a tactic that looks at the total cost to the business of manufacturing or providing a good or service to the consumer, and then it'll add an additional amount for profit margin the business wants. So, just say the laptop I'm using to record these fine YouTube lessons, let's say it cost us $1,000 to actually manufacture and make. And let's say we want a 10% profit margin. Your maths, unless you're terrible at maths, you would therefore sell this product for $1,100. The $1,000 that it costs to make it, and that 10% profit margin that you're after. So if you're doing this with your pricing methodology, hence why it's called pricing methods, then it's called cost from the syllabus, or textbooks say cost plus pricing. Same old, same old. It is called cost. The second method is market. This is a pricing strategy whereby the marketing team allow market forces, the old demand and supply, okay, and they get the equilibrium of that to set the price for the product. So where demand intersects supply, that's what you will sell the product for. An example of this is a house auction, or this could also be what a shop thinks the average customer will pay for a good based on the market forces of pure demand and supply. Many businesses use this pricing strategy because it's what they can buy. If you're a grocer selling different fruits and vegetables, depending on the seasons and so on, you can buy apples and bananas and strawberries for different market prices, and you would perhaps utilize this pricing method to be able to set the price you sell to the customers. All right, the third method, the last one, competition-based pricing. This is a commonly used pricing method as well. What is it? It's where a business will look at what it costs them to make the product, which we did with costs, but more importantly, they'll be heavily influenced by what the competitors, the competition, the rivals are selling the same item for. And it's mainly that latter part. I'm Woolies, what's Coles selling the same items for? And I'll use that as a guide for my pricing of the bananas, of the cornflakes or whatever it may well be. Hence, your pricing based on what your competition does. And really, Woolies and Coles aren't meant to be looking at what each other are pricing. There shouldn't be pricing collusion, but there kind of is. They do look often at what each is selling them for. If Coles sells something for cheaper, not surprisingly, the next week Woolies will be cutting down on the price for that similar product. All right, they're the methodologies. The 4 pricing strategies, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got market skimming, penetration pricing, loss leaders, and price points. These are the official pricing strategies. What's market skimming? It's a pricing tactic that is used by a business when it wants to recover the high cost involved in establishing a product and developing it and releasing it into the marketplace. They do this by setting an initial very high price. It's often usually used when you've spent a lot of time using R&D, that research and development. Say the first business that developed plasma TVs, I remember walking through Westfields and they were for sale for like $20,000. Now you can buy a similar size one for probably about $450. So when they first came to market, you found that plasma TVs used, the makers of them, market skimming. It cost them a crap load to make the plasma and to research and develop and bring it to market. And they charged the initial customers huge, not penalty, but huge premium to purchase that product. So it's a strategy. Over time, you get second to market businesses coming in and the price will come down. You're trying to recoup some of that initial cost of R&D. Now, the second pricing strategy is called penetration pricing. This refers to setting prices at the lowest possible price to gain an immediate group of customers. It's the opposite, really, of the first one, that market skimming. And this is a strategy. Why would you want to do that? Because sometimes you're selling stuff at below cost. Why would you want to do that? It's used to penetrate, go through a market and gain market share quickly, rapidly, by setting a price much lower than your competitors. Now, pricing penetration or penetration pricing aims to undercut the main competitors of the business and act as an encouragement for customers to switch over to the new business's product. Now, there's a second step involved in penetration pricing. Once a loyal group of customers has been developed, it is expected the business will generally raise its prices, because usually with pricing penetration, it's selling below what it costs to make the product. Sounds stupid. Well, if you're trying to gain an immediate market share and brand recognition, people buy it and they go sweet as, and they get a reputation, then they will not go crazy with the pricing, but they'll up it to where the competitors are. Virgin Airlines did this. They sold stuff at below what it cost, airline flights, below what it cost for a year or so, People got used to it and thought it was a reasonable alternative to Qantas and Jetstar, and then Virgin upped the prices. Now, the third pricing strategy is loss leaders. The loss leader pricing tactic involves providing a limited number of goods at a price that generates minimal profit or even can make a loss to encourage customers to purchase other goods from the business. So, in terms of this particular strategy, why would you sell below what it costs? Think about a service station for argument's sake. Most people think that servos rip them off with petrol. Sometimes they do. Most of the time, most service stations sell the petrol for at cost, sometimes below cost. Why would they do it? Why would 7-Eleven? Why would Caltex? Are they generous people? Sell petrol for less than what it costs them to buy? Have a think about when you go into that service station and you go and buy a loaf of bread, a bottle of milk. What's that like compared to the supermarket just down the road? Is it cheaper for the loaf of bread and the milk at the servo or at the supermarket? I guarantee it is cheaper at the supermarket, and often it's double, triple on some products, 3 or 4 times more expensive at a service station than what it would be at Woolies or Coles. Why? They're using the service station, the loss leader approach. What they're doing is they're getting you in with cheapish product like petrol, and they're more than making up for it when they flog and they sell you the other products within the shop. Now, you don't have to buy those other products, but you got to pick up the petrol. That's reasonable. Maybe it's, maybe that business is making a loss slightly or whatever, so you pick it up because you need it. Then you could go to Woolies or Coles 10 minutes down the road, but geez, you only need 1 bottle of milk. They know that you're probably not going to leave the servo and go to Woolies to pick up the bottle of milk for $1.10 a litre. You'd rather go to the servo and pay $3 a litre because you're only getting 1 or 2 litres. It's not worth your time to go elsewhere. They're smart. The service station is using the loss leader approach. Now, the last pricing strategy is to use price points. Price points is a pricing strategy where a business sets different prices for similar products. The products are differentiated, distinguished by their features. So some examples would include mobile phones. You could be on a $30, $40, $50, $70, $110, etc. a month plan. With that, you're getting a range of products range of similar products. They're only slightly different for a different level of price. Now, why would businesses use price points? Why doesn't just, Optus, who I'm with, they're great, but why would Optus have even 2 options? Why would they have a $50 a month, mobile phone plan and a $110 a month mobile phone plan? They're both mobile phones they're offering. Sure, the $110 a month one's brand new, top iPhone, top Samsung, etc. The $50 ones a month is a 2nd generation or 3rd generation older style Samsung, same older generation iPhone. Why don't they just offer the $110 one? Why would they offer a cheaper one? Surely, by offering the 2 Optus, you're allowing your customers to not buy your $110 a month plan, and instead they can go cheap and get a $50 a month. Why do they do a number like 5 or 6 and not just one expensive one? The answer to that is because you have a range of customers who really are only prepared to pay a certain amount. Some people want really great data, happy to spend heaps of money and get the best phone. Then you've got customers who are cheap bastards like myself, who will try and get the cheapest one within reason. Now, if Optus only did a $110 one a month, but Telstra or Vodafone, whoever, did a $50 a month, who would I go with? I'd ditch Optus in a heartbeat. I've got zero loyalty to them, okay? And I would go with Vodafone, whoever, for $50 a month. So by having various price points for tight asses like myself, all the way through to people who would like to pay a lot to get a little bit of a better product. Okay, having various options, you capture a greater market share of customers. So it is an effective pricing strategy. All right, almost done on price, thank God. The last one we mentioned earlier is the price and quality interaction. It makes sense. If something is cheap, the quality is usually poorer. If something is expensive, the quality is usually far better. Not always, but usually the case. So there's this correlation, this comparison between the two. Low quality, low price. High quality, generally higher price. Sometimes we see a difference in that, but that usually won't last for long and is not usually the case. All right, guys, thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.